Bledisloe 2 is just around the corner. Both squads have been named today. It's going to be a pretty interesting game, given that last week's result between the All Blacks and the Wallabies was a record equaling scoreline 47 points to 26. It's not every day you see a side 14 guys or not, but you don't see the All Blacks concede 47 points very often. So there's a lot of build up to this one. I will put the squads in the description so you guys can check them out for yourselves, but I will go over them as well. I won't bother going over the last 5 results because it's pretty much all about that last one, 47-26. That being said, this game is at Eden Park, and the All Blacks record at Eden Park is pretty good. I mean, I think it's 1994, the last time the All Blacks have tasted defeat there, so it's a very, very long record of success at Eden Park. So history says the All Blacks should get the job done, but I guess those records are always there to be broken. The All Blacks have made a few changes. Some of the things have stayed the same, and some of the injuries and suspensions have been reason for those changes as well. They're persisting with Mo'unga and Beauden Barrett at 10 and 15. So Steve Hansen seems pretty hell-bent on making sure that combination is ready to go at World Cup time. I know a lot of us haven't been that convinced by that so far, but the All Blacks haven't been convincing in any of their results in the Rugby Championship thus far either. Kind of a narrow win over the Pumas, a draw, and a pretty hefty loss. So, yeah, I mean, Hansen keeps saying, and I keep repeating it for him, that he's basically trying to peak at the World Cup, not trying to peak before the World Cup. So basically everything is just in lead up to that. So time will be the judge. Those 10 and 15. Aaron Smith's at 9. So same as last week. The midfield has changed. So Sonny Bill Williams comes in at 12 because Goodhue is injured. So ALB shifts one out into 13. 2 new wings. Ben Smith has been dropped for Sevu Reece on the right wing. And Rico Ioane has been dropped for George Bridge on the left wing. So 2 kind of All Blacks mainstays of recent years who, to be fair, haven't been in the finest of form, at least last week anyway. So, I guess fair enough that he makes the change and swings the axe a wee bit there. The forward pack, they're going again with that same back row of Reed at 8, Sam Cane at 7, and Ardie Savea at 6. I liked that when it was first named, and it's only been, I think, that way once, so we might have seen it before when Ardie Savea comes off the bench from time to time, but for a starting lineup, I mean, Ardie Savea is pretty flexible, and he can play pretty much anywhere. He does add something else at the breakdown. There are those people who have been commenting, and fair enough as well, that we kind of lack that devastating number 6, just to crash the ball up. Perhaps that's a bit lacking. Maybe that the Wallabies, in terms of their height advantages at line-out time, could make our lives miserable, but that's the back row. Whitelock retains his spot, and Patrick Tuipulotu joins him in the second row with Scott Barrett being suspended. Laulala comes in for Franks, so Franks has been dropped. Coles is in at hooker, and Moody is in at loose head, so that's the same as last week. Reserves, Taylor, Tuangafasi, Ta'avao, Hemopo, Todd, Perenara, Laumape, and Jordie Barrett. So, a bit of a change to the All Black lineup. I guess it's time to give some other guys a run in the preparation for the World Cup. I mean, this is a serious match because the Bledisloe Cup is on the line, and we've had that for a long time as well. So Eden Park record at stake, Bledisloe Cup at stake, so going with some fresh blood to try and make sure that job gets done. The Wallabies, on the other hand, have kept things as steady as they can, I suppose, at least in the starting 15. There's only one change, so it's still Nick White and Liliafano, who were good at 9 and 10 last week, Karevi and James O'Connor. Pretty useful midfield last week as well. Good variation, I guess, that you don't get with Kieran alongside Karevi as well. Kotobeti, who was very good last week, and Hodge, much maligned of late, but not so much after last week. Beale at 15. Same back row, Nasarani, Hooper, and Salakaia-Loto. So that's what I mean. Big number 6, tall. He can play lock as well, so we'll see how he goes. Coleman has come in for the injured Rory Arnold, and that is probably a pretty big blow for the Wallabies because he is one of the best guys at winning line-out ball and stealing line-out ball. So if they were going to put any extra pressure on the All Blacks at line-out time, he would have been a man to do that, but he is out injured. Rodda is alongside him. So Coleman and Rodda very good around the park, but neither of them is like one of the top, like a Guido Petty or a Rory Arnold in terms of their line-out work, but they're still serviceable. Alatoa, Latu, and Seo. Front row, there are some changes on the bench, so it's still Fainga'a, Slipper, and Tupo as the front row replacements, but Simmons comes in as the reserve lock. Liam Wright is in for Luke Jones. I believe he'll be making his debut. He's pretty effective at the breakdown as well, so it'd be nice to see him get a run. It's a pretty daunting task in a Bledisloe Cup match, but we'll see what the state of play is when he comes on. Guinea Tamua and Adam Ashley Cooper replaces Tom Banks. So, no Luke Jones, no Tom Banks this week. AAC is an experienced hand, I guess, to have in there as well. All Blacks are definitely favourites for this one. The TAB here, which is the betting company, has them by 14 points, which is pretty comfortable. I think last week's predicted margin was a fair bit more. And Rugby Forecast, which is that algorithm predictions, has them by 15, so pretty similar there. All Blacks by pretty much 2 tries. Eden Park, the last time these two teams met was last year in the Rugby Championship, and it was All Blacks 40, Wallabies 12. So the All Blacks record over the Wallabies, especially Eden Park, is pretty tidy. I will be going to this game. I think there's a forecast for maybe some light rain. I'm not undercover. I think I'm at one of the ends. I forget which. Hopefully quite close to the action. So that'll be a bit of fun. I'm still deciding on what kit to wear. Do I go standard All Blacks fan and just go with the black? Or do I go something a bit out there, like wear a Georgia jersey or Wales or England? England would be fun. Wallabies, I think I would be pretty brave to wear that. But I guess I'll think about that and decide. You guys can let me know if you have any suggestions. But yeah, All Blacks against Wallabies. Pretty pumped. It's such a good weekend of rugby. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to see all the games because there's so many on. England are playing Wales. Scotland are playing France. The Springboks are playing the Pumas. Italy's playing Russia. There's like games everywhere. We're not even at the World Cup. But how good is it to be a rugby fan at this time of the year? It's awesome. You guys let me know your thoughts on this game. How do you think it's going to go? Can the Wallabies do the impossible and break that record and get their hands on the Bledisloe, or do you think the All Blacks are going to bounce back because they don't often lose 2 in a row? You guys let me know your thoughts, and I'll talk to you again soon. See you later.